and the new Chelsea begin their World Cup journey with a win. Welcome back to FFB, amigos, and always happy with the Chelsea win. We're gonna get this game against LAFC. Not the biggest, strongest team out there, not the biggest one in the group. We're gonna talk about that later. But let's jump into a little bit about that game, and we'll talk a little bit about the other games in this video as well. Although we will make a separate video for that. Let's break it down as it happened. So a couple of things that I want to say about the World Cup broadly, and I'll bring it up in another video too, but might as well take advantage because when it's my players, it hurts a little bit more. That walkout thing that they're doing, those of us that play FIFA or back in the day, one of these video games when you get your ultimate team card and they do the individual walkouts of the players. And some players don't deserve a walkout, just saying. But aside from that, it's silly. All the players looked uncomfortable. It's ugly. It's delayed. It delays the start. It looks silly. Then they line them up face to face each other, and it's like silly dramatics that don't apply. We have traditions in soccer and football. We love them. Let's keep them. Same thing with the superior player of the match. Fine. You don't want to say man of the match? Okay, sure. We can say player of the match. We do that. We have like young player of the match, POTM, or of the season, POTS. I don't get it. The names are ridiculous. There's no need to change things that are not broken, that are not weird. And lastly, the stadiums. Some stadiums, lovely, they had people in them, and some were just incredibly depressing. I am surprised that in LA, for example, for this game, such a huge stadium, so little people. And that goes back to something that I said before when when I dared contemplate potentially assisting a game, and I realized it's insane expensive. So bad FIFA, bad. Let's hope they understand where they're playing, if they happen to be hosting in a country like that, make it affordable so to join, make negotiations with associations, get the stadiums filled. It's an embarrassment. Other than that, Chelsea did something that we saw Bayern Munich did, that we saw PSG do, and Atletico Madrid do. The big teams so far are lining up strong ass teams. Um, Chelsea arguably the strongest team. I mean, you could have made one or two changes, but that's a formation that would play a Champions League match, or that's a formation that would play a very important Premier League match. You could argue maybe somebody at center back, but they're not. There was no one missing. It's not like Palma was there, Caicedo was there, Neto was there, Jackson the only nine until now. We have Delap. We'll talk about that. Cucurella, certainly, like all the players, and unfortunately, yes, our main goalkeeper, but that's the goalkeeper that was there. So shocking. No, not shocking to me, but I think it's shocking to some of you that don't believe in this World Cup. Again, I'm going to say this every video: 120 million for the winner, and maybe even more. I'm not sure. That's just I think prize money and winning each game up until that stage breaks you past 100 and 100 120 million. So that's a huge deal. And I think this is the first format, the first World Cup format that we're playing this way. And you never know if it becomes a thing. You're going to be the first world champion. We're going to talk about people being upset on how teams qualify to it. But today we're just going to focus on this match. Let's get into it. Like I said, strong team, boring as hell. The first 30 minutes in Chelsea was dominating. They dominated the whole game in reality. And could be said about most of the game, but I sort of break it down as I'm watching it. So in the first 30, boring and not incisive at all. Again, possession, side to side, not really working out. The players seem to be, one interpretation of the pundits I was watching it in Spanish, was like the players seem to be managing their own minutes. And that's just to say that they weren't giving it all, or it didn't seem as they were putting it all out there. And I disagree with that. I think maybe that was the case with some players, but I saw Mariweki running. I saw Neto running. I certainly saw Cole Palmer running a lot. So that was interesting. Another note was Sanchez wasn't called upon, a couple of shots here and there, but he did make a couple of errors early in the game, and that was very upsetting. But we're kind of used to that already, especially two in a row where he plays one out quickly with his hands and just gives away the ball, and then immediately he's in the wrong place against an attack. But we're lucky because I think it needed to happen. And in the 33rd minute, so a good hold up play by Jackson, who plays Neto through timed his run perfectly, sits a defender down on his ass pretty much, and finishes like a pro. He slips a little bit, but he's able to put it down 1-0. Happy to see it. Chelsea are ahead. We can take a little bit of a breath because we're scared of those games where Chelsea's not scoring when the main team is on the field. Especially guys, this is very inferior competition. And of course it's the end of the season, all the excuses you want. But I don't think it was lack of physical fitness the problem in this game where Chelsea were a little bit boring, but maybe the idea is not being clear in patterns of play. But I don't know. I'm gonna treat this seriously. I'm gonna speak to these games as if they were seriously. But again, end of the first half, boring, but Chelsea winning, Chelsea in control. First half, as always, Moises Caicedo, standout player. He's fighting, recovering, playing fast. He was a little bit imprecise with passes today. I'll tell you that much. With one or two passes going forward, but that's when you're already nitpicking. When you have a player of his quality playing at that level and certainly playing amazing, he did fail a couple of passes because that made him imperfect. Yet a stellar performance all around. And I thought Jackson had a good first half, and Neto was running. James did his duty pretty well at right back and then inverting a couple of times. Certainly, Cucurella inverted. Throughout the game, I saw something that we suffered with all of last season that we got to be very careful of is with Chelsea, which is you hold a low block. They're gonna smash. They're gonna pass the ball around. They'll get frustrated and not be able to do much, and then you counter them wide behind those inverted left fullbacks, which we saw that happen today a couple of times. And sometimes, as good as Kukureya is, as fast as he is, there's space in behind him. Or you're just going to face that line of three. If once you break that line, because Chelsea are so wide, we know that one or two of the DMs of that second line are going to be way up into the opponent's box. So you dink that or run past that line, and you have a one-on-one with the right center back, left center back, or fullback that is holding his line one-on-one. And a lot of the time, it'll be a center back. In this case, you'll catch Colwell on the left center back position, James if he's inverted, or you'll find whoever's playing right center back. And they exploited that a couple of times, and they got to us, which is still very predictable and very hard to deal with in transition. It's very demanding of the defensive midfielders. But in any case, again, the Madueke, a typical Madueke performance where he was running a lot, but I'm shocked how much he struggled to get past players. It was a little sad. He's not against the highest level of opposition. But again, space was tight, so you can't blame him either. Then we do the subs. We get Gusto in for James, and we get Enzo come in for Lavia, which is good because Lavia, those are two most injury prone players probably. Certainly James, we need him rested. We don't want to get him hurt. We want him to last. And very happy for us Chelsea fans. I don't know why I'm celebrating arms race, but I was really happy to see Olivier Giroud come in, even if it was for the opposition. And I was certainly happy. It's a reminder of how much we struggled with having a nine in our team. To seeing him, even I had a little bit of feels like, oh man, I kind of wish we would have him too. I would take me some Olivier Giroud action for sure. Even at 90 years old or however old he is. But happy to see him come in. 53rd minute, Jackson comes close with a header that is cleared from the line. Good intervention. Again, he wasn't, it was Jackson, right? He fights up that ball, he holds up, he plays well, brings players in. In the 56th minute, another thing to notice is that LAFC missed a chance after beating Neto on a one-on-one, who found himself because he's one of the fast ones. So on a counter, he might be the one that runs back with a player. In this case, he was playing the position of a fullback pretty much, covering for Cucuria. He's get beaten bad, and they have their second or third miss. A couple of them are really poor from LAFC. It's like, thank God they suck. I'm sorry, LAFC fans and MLS fans, but they're just terrible. If Chelsea doesn't have finishing, I mean, one of these guys just like was, I don't know, 20 meters off off of the goal on a couple of shots. So we got very lucky there that the finishing is really, really subpar. And none of these landed on someone like Giroud because he would put those away. Absolutely. Then on the Chelsea's not playing winner, but we're still winning, right? And then in the 63rd minute, we get some subs. Madueke goes out, which again, not a good game. Good in the sense that he was trying, he was running around, but man, he wasn't making anything happen. He comes in, George, and we're happy to see Delap. Ballsy Delap. Delap wearing the number 9 cursed Chelsea shirt. Good luck to you, brother. I wish you the best of luck. I really hope putting on that shirt doesn't destroy you. I don't think it will. Being a youngster, he can still grow into it. On that into that supposedly cursed shirt and cursed position, to be honest, because even no matter what number you're wearing as a Chelsea leading the line for Chelsea has been very difficult. And we we have the ghost of Drogba that maybe Costa filled it for a while, and then the boots of players like great men like Anelka Shevchenko, even you could, well, I don't say great men Lukaku because we hate him, but people that will have the potential of world class, Morata, Crespo. A lot of people haven't been able to do a number 9 job for Chelsea. So good luck for you, Delap. And a lot of us is incredible. Everybody was super excited in the stadium. I don't know if you guys heard it, but the 17 people that were there really applauded and got really excited when the lap came on, which is kind of sad. And I think Jackson even looked a little sad when he got taken off. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. I don't know what you guys saw, what you guys think, but that's what I saw. But exciting to see him come in. And when he did come in, of course, all eyes on him. And I did see some amazing runs, man. And I saw some amazing runs by him. Great movement. We really missed that. And within a couple of minutes, we already started seeing that difference. And I think I think Palmer's starting to get fed up with the way Chelsea play, to be honest. Um, looks like he gets frustrated at one point and he starts playing direct and he lost a couple of balls. And I think I saw the same. That's the 2 errors or 3 errors that I'm seeing from Caicedo. It's about the same thing. We're pinging the ball side to side and they get a little frustrated and they try to play something through the middle a little bit more aggressive, which leads to sometimes losing the ball. But I'm okay with that because as long as you can handle the transition when you f up. So I think that was important and that was happening. But when you have a 9 like that doing those great runs and working those center backs, which I saw him do, I think it's a pretty fantastic thing. And again, on the 77th, they had another chance. LAFC. Again, I argue that if they had anybody decent, they could have had 1 or 2 goals and be in the game, but we were lucky. Minute 79, the lap makes a great run and is able to put in a good cross and gets his assist on his debut. And Enzo, who's been watching a lot of Frank Lampard videos, puppy, I think so, for quite a few months, he's gotten good at arriving into the box when the time is right. And as long as you put in that cross in his path, and they haven't been low crosses necessarily, he's put in a couple of headers today. It wasn't a low cross, it wasn't a high cross either, but it's about the timing of the run. If you time your run into the box properly, it doesn't have to be a header. You don't have to be a good header of the ball if you're in the right place. And he's able to put it away. And I think finally there we can breathe. Then we start seeing the game out. Thank God Isugo comes in for Caicedo and Kunku in for Palmer. And I say thank God because those two Durinos need a good rest. They really need a good rest. We don't want to burn them out. We had the long season, which Chelsea was very lucky because the B team played. Remember when we had a B team? Chelsea had a B team. We had Joao Felix, Nkunku, Mark Yu, and Kieran Dewsbury Hall. We had pretty much a full 11 that was playing all the cup games towards the end. So we missed out on those. Then we sucked in the cups. We didn't make it far, so we didn't have that much football. But there's players that's why they're complaining because you can have a full season with a lot of games last season. Now you're into the World Cup, barely get a break, back into the Prem, or mostly the Prem, which is one of the toughest ones with the toughest schedule, all the way through December. And then you're gonna make it into the World Cup. So that's almost 2 years nonstop. Some players playing upwards of 70 games. Um, Moises Caicedo, a true goat in the making. Broke a record this year, for example. He played he started every single game, and I think he played almost every minute of every single game for Chelsea in the Prem. And nobody's done that since our boy Dave, Cesar Aspilicueta. Those of you that don't know, Chelsea fans call Aspilicueta Dave. It's just a thing. It came actually from the players. They could call him because nobody could say Aspilicueta. So they just called him Dave. I had something similar like that happen to me. Used to be get called Bob for a while in my life. Nuts. In any case, it was good to see them rest, but horrendous to see Nkunku come in. I'm really worried about that Nkunku situation. I don't know what you guys think. I really think he's been transfer bound for so long. I don't know if it'll happen. I'm worried when players are not motivated because look, he's better than what he displayed for Chelsea. And I don't care what they say. He got plenty of opportunity, mate. He got plenty of opportunities to show what he did. Minutes, they played him as a 10 on the right, on the left. He wasn't in for it. He seems to be on vacation. So a little bit shocking that he's not there. But highlight is again, Delap gets a debut. Delap gets an assist. Tyreek George also came in. Saw him play a little bit of minutes. We got that left hand side, which is weak with all the noise and the problem with this Kendry Pies nonsense. Um, we have Esteban William hopefully coming. So the right seems to be covered. The left wing seems to be a little bit problematic. That's why we're probably seeing Nani play there a lot to see if that becomes a thing. But good things all around. Um, concerns that it's hard for us to break down a low block because remember this is very low opposition. So they played into a low block. They were fairly organized, and we struggled with that. And it was individual performance that kind of pulled us out of that again, which is fine. We're a good team. We have those players. That's kind of what that's about too. But that counter and transition wide is a little still something we have to work on and deal with a low block. And now we have the biggest team coming up. We're just getting started. The next one is the biggest one of the group stage against Flamengo. The advantage, of course, we have in theory better players, but these dudes, I believe, are like 10, 11 games into their season. And so they've got football, they've got rhythm more than we do. And we got to be careful with that. We certainly want to win it. We care about this. We're very excited, Chelsea fans. And I think everybody, you guys that have not been involved in watching the games, skip the crappy ones, the ones that will Bayern wins 10-0 or once you play very inferior competition. But once we start getting, there are going to be some cool games like the one we had PSG Atletico in the first round. Cool. They measured themselves against each other. We're going to say something inappropriate. They measured something to see how it went. It went very poorly for Atletico. And they're going to meet again. So once we get to quarters, we're going to have some big matches with a big pot, a big prize, a lot of hungry young players and upcoming stars, both in the South American and European teams that will want to show themselves. A lot of players. This is in teams like Chelsea, actually, every minute that they're going to get could mean the difference in convincing their coach if they go out on loan or they stay for the main team. So there's a lot of action coming, and I think let's see what the other big teams do. But I'm really excited, and of course, Chelsea players, thank you for the win. Thank you for the effort. Thank you, Chelsea, for taking it seriously. Thank you to all the other games that I think are the other teams that are taking it seriously. I'm really excited to see it. I will continue to make videos throughout the whole World Cup. I'm treating this just like any other tournament. I think it's more exciting. It's actually more money, and it's a better tournament by far than the Conference League that I had to suffer through. So we're definitely going to do that. As always, Chelsea players, thank you. And to Chelsea fans, come on, you Blues.